Hey everyone, me Kevin here with a second stimulus check and stimulus plan update, number 2 for September 1st. We have some big updates that came down the pike today, including eviction protections and updates from Capitol Hill on the next stimulus check and stimulus package. Let's get right into it. First, Reuters just reported that the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, has just issued an order temporarily halting all evictions through December 31st. That's through the end of the year. However, you will only be protected from eviction if your income is no more than $99,000 as an individual and no more than $198,000 as a joint filer. So presumably like husband and wife or wife, husband, whatever, right? 2 filers on a tax return, $198. Single filer, $99K. Now, remember where this power comes from. On August 8th, President Trump signed an executive order saying if there's a risk of spreading COVID, evictions should be banned. Well, apparently, if you are an individual making more than $99,000, you're not a COVID risk. But if you don't make more than $99,000, you're a risk to society because you might spread COVID and therefore you're not allowed to be evicted. Now, obviously, the messaging here is a little bit odd with how they stretched this in the executive order, but let's just look at the practical matter of it. For those making $99,000 or less, or those joint filers making $198,000 or less, it's quite likely that those filers might be more financially burdened by the pandemic. We already know that wealthier individuals have gotten wealthier throughout the pandemic, and apparently, per the government, if you make more than $99,000 or more than $198,000 as a joint filer, you're better off than everybody else. Okay, that is presumably debatable, but we'll keep going on. The order says that they'll use your tax returns to establish your income. However, you're going to make a self-declaration that, quote, you're not able to make a full rent payment because of loss of income or unexpected expenses due to COVID. And that, quote, you're making your best efforts to make partial payments. So basically, this really just kicks the eviction can down the road through the end of the year. This is expected to affect roughly 40 million renters. It's really times like these. We're in like this crazy pandemic, and we've got these weird executive orders and actions coming down the pike that you really want to make sure you have life insurance in as little as 5 minutes. Do that via the link down below, and if you want a free stock worth between $8 and $1,600, deposit just $100 with Webull, and they will send you a free stock totally free, worth up to $1,600. Back to the rental crisis. In July, Reuters reported about $21.5 billion in past due rent that is currently owed by Americans. Now remember, the HEROES Act would extend the eviction ban and it would provide $100 billion in rental assistance. However, this isn't the HEROES Act. This is just basically Donald Trump's executive order. There is still no rental assistance. So that $21.5 billion that tenants are still behind in rent, well, they still owe that money. And so we could potentially still see an eviction crisis. Everything just got delayed by another 4 months though. So for the time being, we have $0 of rental assistance. And now if you are a landlord and you are affected by this, make sure you take mortgage forbearance so that way you could offset that expense. If you're also a landlord and for whatever reason you're not taking mortgage forbearance or maybe you don't even have a loan, it's important to ensure that you do whatever you can to negotiate with your tenants. And remember, tenants are still responsible for paying the money. So even as a tenant, it's better not to pay zero. It's better to pay something. On the next rounds of stimulus, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin testified today at the House Select Subcommittee on the coronavirus crisis and said, well, he was asked about the state of stimulus, and he said the following. 1, we need more fiscal support. The president and I agree that we need more support. And when he started off with this, he was immediately asked, okay, well then, do you support the $2.2 trillion, which was Democrats' offer? To this, he said, I do not support $2.2 trillion. However, what's more important than the top line number is the breakdown. We keep hearing Republicans say this. Let's talk about the breakdown. Democrats are just talking about the $2.2 trillion mostly. But as such, Steve Mnuchin went on and listed where there is agreement between Democrats and Republicans. These are his words. PPP money, agreement on money for schools, agreement on enhanced unemployment with slight differences in the amount still to be negotiated, agreement on direct payments. Yes, Steve Mnuchin said, quote, agreement on direct payments. So we have an agreement between Republicans and Democrats on direct payments. He also said We are willing to provide more money. We're willing to sit down with the speaker at any time. We're willing to provide more money. He also said that he's conceded with Republicans on post office money for state and local governments as well. Now, he didn't reiterate what kind of concession was given for state and local governments, but in the video this morning, we broke down the potential skinny bill, and we saw, and heard from Mark Meadows that Republicans are offering to throw in an extra $150 billion on top of flexibility for the existing $150 billion available, giving about $300 billion to state and local governments. Remember that Democrats want about $950 billion, so we still got a gap there. Additionally, we still expect to see this skinny bill or skeleton bill get introduced this week or next week. But Mark Meadows already said, don't worry, basically, even if we pass the skinny or skeleton bill, this is going to be, quote, the foundation to negotiate off of. Furthermore, Donald Trump is considering another airline bailout, or at least some form of executive action for airlines. On stocks, Tesla fell about 4.6% today and recovered a bit after hours. If you want more details on what's going on with Tesla and the $5 billion they issued, I made a video explaining exactly what the heck is going on and what this means for you, as well as my new price targets for Tesla going forward, what my price targets are for 2022, 2024, and so on. Thank you so much for watching this stimulus update. If you've liked it, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much to all of those of you, the thousands of you who subscribed in the last few days and helped us reach $800,000. You all are amazing. Thank you so much, and until next time.